It finally happened. It had to happen. Dimple and Dapple got an upgrade. And it's epic. Such a simple idea, yet such a powerful impact. So it'll change their lives. But let's take it back, way back. Yeah, boy. This is a shipping crate. It really is that simple. I picked it up on Facebook Marketplace, and what a find it was. I was first inspired by a zoo where they had these open top crate-like enclosures for reptiles, blue-tongued skinks, bearded dragons. It's the perfect environment for terrestrial animals. And cunning skinks, they can't climb, so this is perfect for Dimple and Dapple. So I needed some inspiration. I had to start thinking about the base layer. I wanted to keep it simple, so I just got a bag of topsoil, or a couple of bags, some dishes, Dimple and Dapple. They're confused, they're not sure what's going on, but they'll be stoked once it's done. So I did some finishing touches to the structure itself. I put some edging around the side just in case they try and skyrocket out of there. It'll keep them in. Now let's add the soil. The hardscape is always the therapeutic part, and it's super fun because you can play with it and you can do whatever you want. So I used a mix of topsoil and mulch. Spread it out, had a few deep areas, some shallow areas, trying to create microclimates in areas where they can dig if they want to. Leaf litter is important, well, A, because it kind of looks cool, it keeps it natural, and it gives them extra areas to hide under. It also stabilizes the lower parts of the enclosure in regards to it naturally creates microclimates and cooler areas for them. And I really like it because it makes it look cool, whatever you're building. Now, Cunningham skinks come from the southeast parts of Australia, and they live in different climates. So when I think about their hardscape, the decorative elements, I wanted a mix of soil, leaf, mulch, and lots of rocks, lots of hiding areas, wood. This was the fun part, playing around with everything, putting all their hides in, all natural, digging caves, digging burrows, just giving them heaps of areas. And this is only for 2 skinks. I mean, if anything, it's probably too many hides. I was super stoked with the finish, but it needed more. There was something missing. So let's keep building.
Oh my god, it's so hot. It's like 26 degrees.
So we have cabbage trees in New Zealand, and when they molt these long leaves that look epic on the ground. And when I see them around the garden, I'm just thinking, man, that would look cool in the skink's lair or the skink pit. So I thought, let's add it in there and just give them a bit more decorative or hardscape enrichment and stimulus, just so they can actually run around and have different textures, different length of leaves, different colorations. These skinks are epic. They look like mini dragons. Now, a cool fact about the Cunningham skink is that they're communal animals. So unlike a lot of our native species that live here in New Zealand, like our forest gecko, these guys live in communities. They love basking on top of each other. They also have a really, really cool element with their tail where it's got spikes so that when they jam themselves between rocks, it's hard to get them out by predators.
So I just want to break down the pit. So the pit has been made, it's 1.2 by 1.2, it's huge, it's terrestrial space for the Cunningham skinks. The idea is lots of hiding places, lots of terrestrial space. Cunningham skinks are naturally more terrestrial than arboreal, obviously, so land mass is important. So food, water. Now, lots of hiding places. One, it's like a tunnel, all right? We've got a massive area under here, which will be their basking area right here. This will be the warm end, cool end, Right, so another spot here, another spot here. So that's all dug out underneath. So it's actually an underground tunnel system. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5. They've got 6 plus 2 cool areas. That's the idea of the pit. As you can see, super epic. Let's get these guys in. So you need a few more things. You need a ceramic reflector clamp. So this is going to go on the side of the pit to give them the light. The basking spot, perfect for outdoor enclosures. These are actually good for, I guess if you're building like a greenhouse or an outdoor system where it's still undercover, these do really, really well. And a D3 basking lamp, right? So it gives you your UVA, UVB, and your IR, right? Everything you need, plus heat. Perfect for, like I said, outdoor greenhouses, indoor pits. I got inspired by a zoo that had these essentially. They're like indoor outdoor pits. So this is just a shipping crate, guys, and that's why I think this is super epic. It's a great idea, cost effective, so you don't need to spend fortunes on a massive enclosure out of glass or a terrarium. It's open top. You can get a mesh lid, so in the summer months put a mesh lid across and get them outside. In the winter months they can be inside with a lamp. I've got the capping on, so these guys aren't great climbers. Ideally they shouldn't come out, but they're also inside. So let's see how it goes. All right, so obviously we've got the spring here and the clamp, which we'll need. The actual lamp itself and the plug, always great news. All right, let's put this together and see how it looks. This thing is actually quite big, and this is what I like about it. It's literally something you'd see in an outdoor like zoo enclosure, which is epic, or like a growing hut for birds. Epic. So let's get this bulb inside. So it's actually a perfect size, and the mesh lid will fit quite well. So I like it. Let's see how it goes. And the final piece, there it is. Look at that. That's it. All right, let's clip it. Let's turn it on. Let's see what we can do here. The hardest part with these guys is actually catching them. Now look at this. They are quick. So I have to be very, oh yeah, okay. Yep, this is it in a nutshell. All right, so I have to be very cryptic with how I do this. Yeah, there's one. You're all right, mate. All right, now let's see how he goes. There you go. All right, and the next one. The female's a lot more chill. I don't know if that's a natural female trait with these skinks or reptiles in general, but she's a lot more chill, a lot easier to be handled, a lot more keen to be handled, but let's put her in. Oh, all right. And there we go. All right. Now we're going to give them some time to adjust and see how they love their massive pit. But look at that. Scale to the size of it. All those hiding places is epic. Massive D3 bulb. Let's see how they go.
So like other popular terrestrial skinks in the pet trade, especially here in New Zealand, you've got the blue tongues, which would also suit this type of enclosure 100%, as long as you give them the right parameters. So enough space, enough hides, you give them water, you give them food, and you give them the UVB and heating they require. Remember, do your research, guys. I'm not an expert, I'm not a thought leader, but I do have experience, and that's what you should also rely on, is your own experience. And if you're a newbie, then please do your research. Make sure you do plenty of research online. Talk to zookeepers, talk to pet shops, talk to people that have these animals. There's plenty of Facebook groups online now. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a really different approach if you have the space. I'm very fortunate I have space where I can have a pit like this, and I'll probably get a bigger one in the future. Maybe have like a communal setup. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm Max. I've been obsessed with reptiles, amphibians, and ectotherms, insects ever since I was a kid, and I've just haven't grown out of it. Cunningham skinks are super unique. They're not like leopard geckos, they're not like blue tongues, they're not the easiest to handle, they're really skittish. They are very bitey, they're fast. They're skinks, right? These guys are traditional skinks, they're just larger, but they're super cool. They have awesome colorations, super spiny tails, and I think they're epic, and hopefully they do really well in this enclosure. Another cool factor, which I mentioned earlier, is that they're communal animals, so they actually live together. They like living in groups. That's how they protect each other in the wild. But otherwise, stay tuned for the next one. I don't know what's going to be next in store for Reptile Fanatics, but we've got some exciting stuff coming up. And if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram, send me some questions if you have any, or just let's talk shop. I love talking about reptiles, amphibians, insects, aquascaping, fish, anything cool and unique. And if you think you've got some awesome ideas for me, please flick them through. I love making content, I love trying new things, I love being creative, and I love the journey. If you're like me, you'll love animals. You probably can't stop buying animals, but it is what it is. It's life now. So stay tuned for the next one, guys.